Right now, we're living in a digital era of entertainment, with technology amazing enough to build wonderfully immersive experiences. But for the next few minutes, I want to appreciate a form of entertainment almost as old as civilization itself. A type of entertainment stemming from some good old imagination and one flat surface. Or, as we call it, tabletop gaming. A tabletop game can be defined exactly as it sounds, any game that's played upon a table or a flat surface. By definition, this includes everything from board games to card games to adventure games to strategy games, and virtually anything else that can be played on a table. While all types of tabletop game exist and each have their own very specific origins, each one of them could credit the ancient Egyptians in some way for their ancestry. Archaeological findings allow us to see board gaming in its earliest forms, like Senet, a strategy game dated to around 3500 BC. Alongside Senet, another game dubbed Hounds and Jackals was also popular amongst the ancient Egyptians. Some years after the ancient Egyptians, you have games like backgammon making their first appearances a little over 5,000 years ago with the ancient Mesopotamians. Fast forward a couple thousand more years, and you have chess being born as Shatranj somewhere in India between 280 and 550 AD. And then you have card games emerging in China around 868 AD. And of course, you have countless other games being created in the centuries between then and now. Now, obviously, I'm skipping over more than a few details here in a couple thousand years of history, but I think you get my point. Tabletop gaming has been around for a long time. With a new appreciation for the deep history of gaming, I wanted to know more about where things are at now. So I headed down to my local tabletop gaming store, and I had myself a chat with a gaming expert.
My name is Henry Glover. I've been here about 7 years, and I run the store, and I play a lot of games, so I learn them, and we try to demo them on Tuesdays. We play a lot of games.
Cool, so like a lot of testing goes into your job.
A little bit, yeah.
Would you say there's still games in here that you don't know a whole lot about?
Oh, yes. Yes. Many, many games. I only get to play, a small percentage of them.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, and there's just so many of them now. It's easy to find one that's right for you because there's so much great selection.
So it's just a matter of like finding something that you can personally involve yourself with.
Yeah. And there's things from the lightest, like, play this with a bunch of buddies and have a few beers to like sit down and really work on a strategy for months and months.
Make like a whole campaign.
Yeah, everything in between. Like I still get people coming in saying, "Oh, board games are just Monopoly, right?" And it's so much better than that.
Would you say that nerd culture is an appropriate name for the kinds of things you do, or would you say it's derogatory?
Whatever people want to say is fine, as long as you don't. As long as you understand that it's not an outsider thing, it really is like something that anybody can enjoy.
Yeah, of course. Just like Henry said, there are a lot of tabletop games for every level, from beginner to veteran. But I'm not here to be a beginner. Everyone and their mother has played Monopoly or Connect 4. I'm in it for the deepest level of tabletop gaming you can go. Dungeons and Dragons. So I grabbed a friend, and we came back some days later to join in on their game night. D&D is a role-playing game, or RPG for short. In a nutshell, you, as the player, create a character to play as, who can more or less be anything you want. Bard, thief, warrior, healer, wizard, doesn't matter. But every aspect of your character, from their role in the party to the equipment they carry, and even their personal background, will affect how well they are likely to perform on any given action. Following character creation, the Dungeon Master, or DM for short, then gives a detailed explanation of the world in which the adventure is set, setting the scene for the game's players. From there, everyone takes turns interacting with the world in any way they please. The success of each action hinges on the roll of the dice, plus the aforementioned character traits. While this explanation sounds simple, there's also several other variables I haven't mentioned that are also factored in when determining how actions will play out, a responsibility that the DM dutifully carries.
Hi, I'm Will. I'm a GM with the Days of Nights Adventurers League, and I like Dungeons and Dragons because, well, it gets me to know more people.
Do you feel like being a DM or a GM is, do you feel like you have any less fun keeping things managed, or?
Oh, no, I have a lot of fun being a GM.
There's a lot of story crafting involved, obviously.
Oh yes, obviously, and it is a lot of fun.
So we created our characters and we got ready for the adventure ahead. Aaron, who are you?
Urban bounty hunter dwarf.
Named Jim. And of course, we were introduced to our new companions too.
Triton.
Triton.
Fish person. Dwarf.
And drow.
Drow.
And before we knew it, we were carried off into a world of fantasy. And for the next 2 hours, it was nothing but smiles and laughter. And we were making stories as memorable as if they'd happened in real life. But the best part was, all of it was brought together from nothing but the collective imagination of 9 people who had never even met otherwise. So if you learn anything from this story, I hope that it's to see tabletop gaming as more than just a simple pastime, to instead see it as a tool created for shaping new friendships and fond memories, even in the company of complete strangers. And that because of this tool, there's always going to be a table somewhere with smiling faces behind it.